The Forsaken Colony. The artificial sun of Nexus Station cast long shadows across the colony's central plaza as Commander Sarah Chen stood at the observation deck, watching distant stars through the reinforced dome. Nexus represented humanity's farthest reach into the galaxy, a thriving trade hub and research outpost housing 15,000 souls on the edge of unexplored space. "Commander, you need to see this." Lieutenant Kang's voice crackled through her comm. The urgency in his tone made Sarah's stomach tighten. Within minutes, she stood in the command center, surrounded by holographic displays, showing a massive fleet emerging from hyperspace at the system's edge. Dozens, then hundreds of ships materialized, angular, predatory vessels with serrated edges and blood-red hull markings. "Vraxian Dominion," Sarah whispered, recognizing the configuration from intelligence briefings. "How many?" "Over 500 vessels, Commander. Capital ships, destroyers, and what appears to be troop carriers." Kang's voice wavered. "They're jamming all outgoing communications." The Vraxians were notorious conquerors, a reptilian species whose empire had expanded rapidly through brutal conquest. Their technology far outpaced humanity's defensive capabilities. Nexus Station's modest defense fleet consisted of just 12 ships. "Send an emergency transmission to Earth Command and the Galactic Alliance. Priority Alpha." Sarah's voice remained steady despite the fear clawing at her chest. "Begin civilian evacuation protocols." The station erupted into controlled chaos as evacuation orders blared through every sector. Families grabbed essential belongings while defense personnel rushed to their posts. Sarah knew their options were limited. Nexus had been built for commerce and research, not warfare. Hours later, the first response arrived not from Earth, but from the Galactic Alliance, a coalition of 17 spacefaring species that humanity had joined barely 30 years earlier. Commander Chen, the holographic figure of Ambassador Telix, a tall, silver-skinned Arcturian, flickered into view. "The Alliance Council has convened regarding your situation." Sarah felt a glimmer of hope. The Alliance's combined fleets could match the Vraxians. "Ambassador, we need immediate military assistance. 15,000 civilians." "The Council has voted." "Commander," Telix interrupted, his expression somber. "The Vraxian threat extends beyond Nexus. The Alliance has enacted Containment Protocol Delta." The blood drained from Sarah's face. "Delta? That's a quarantine procedure. The Vraxian Dominion has made it clear they seek only human territories. They've offered assurances that Alliance worlds will remain untouched if we maintain neutrality." "You're abandoning us," Sarah stated flatly. It wasn't a question. Telix's silver eyes avoided her gaze. "The Alliance extends its deepest regrets. Evacuation support cannot be provided. Earth has been notified of the situation." The transmission ended, leaving the command center in stunned silence. "They sacrificed us to save themselves," Lieutenant Kang whispered. Sarah's hands clenched into fists. "Contact Earth Command." "Any response?" "Still nothing, Commander. The Vraxians are blocking all quantum communications beyond this system." Over the next 12 hours, the situation deteriorated rapidly. The Vraxian fleet established orbit around Nexus, jamming all escape routes. Their commander, War Sovereign Drexkar, broadcast his demands throughout the station. "Humans of Nexus Station." The reptilian face filled every screen, yellow eyes gleaming with cold intelligence. "Your alliance has abandoned you. Your homeworld cannot save you. Surrender, and your deaths will be painless. Resist, and we will make examples of you across the stars." Sarah gathered her senior staff in the reinforced bunker beneath the station's core. "Options." Chief Engineer Ortega gestured to the station schematics. "We've armed every civilian who can hold a weapon. Mining charges have been repurposed as explosives. But Commander, we're not soldiers, and our actual soldiers. 300 station security personnel, plus crews from our defense vessels. Maybe 1,000 combat-capable individuals against what intelligence suggests is a Vraxian invasion force of 80,000. Sarah nodded grimly. We can't win conventionally, but we can make this station a death trap. Activate Protocol Thermopylae. Protocol Thermopylae was a last resort defensive strategy, converting the entire station into a layered defensive position with automated systems, booby traps, and prepared kill zones. It wouldn't save them, but it would make the Vraxians pay dearly for every corridor they took. The first Vraxian assault came at 600 station time. Their boarding craft attached to the outer rings like parasites, burning through hulls. Station security fought valiantly, falling back according to Sarah's planned defensive measures. By midday, the outer rings had fallen. 3,000 civilians and defenders had died. The Vraxians lost perhaps twice that number, but it hardly dented their forces. Sarah coordinated the defense from the command bunker, redirecting forces and triggering prepared traps. A former tactical officer with Earth Fleet, she had studied historical defensive battles extensively. But historical knowledge couldn't overcome the brutal math of their situation. "Commander," Lieutenant Kang called out, his face streaked with blood from a shrapnel wound. "They've breached Ring 3. Civilian shelters 7 through 12 are compromised." Sarah closed her eyes briefly, knowing what that meant. Another 1,000 civilians lost. "Commander Chen," one of the communications officers suddenly shouted, "I'm detecting unusual quantum fluctuations at the system's edge." Sarah rushed to the monitor. "Vraxian reinforcements." "Negative. The signature doesn't match known Vraxian warp technology. I've never seen readings like this." The scanner display showed massive distortions forming at the heliopause, the boundary where their star system met interstellar space. "Multiple objects emerging," the officer reported, eyes widening. "Reading over 300. No, 400 vessels. Unknown configuration." A flicker of hope sparked in Sarah's chest. "Earth Fleet." "Negative. These aren't registered Earth ships. The energy signatures are completely." The station shuddered as another Vraxian bombardment struck. Emergency lights flickered. "Vraxians have reached the central hub," someone shouted. 10 minutes until they breached the command bunker. Sarah made her decision. All remaining personnel, fall back to emergency shelters. Transmit all tactical data to the approaching fleet, whoever they are. As her staff executed final evacuation orders, Sarah remained at the command console, establishing an open channel to the mysterious fleet. "This is Commander Sarah Chen of Nexus Station. 15,000 human civilians under attack by Vraxian Dominion forces. Alliance abandoned us. If you can hear this, we need help." The bunker door glowed red as Vraxian cutting tools began to breach the reinforced metal. Sarah drew her sidearm. Then suddenly, the comm system crackled to life. "Nexus Station, this is Admiral Marcus Blackwood, Earth Fleet Black Division." The voice was deep, authoritative, and unmistakably human. "Hold your position, Commander. We are inbound." Sarah's brow furrowed in confusion. "Black Division. I'm not familiar with." "That's the point, Commander. When Earth joined the Alliance, we didn't show all our cards." The scanner display suddenly lit up with new information as the mysterious fleet accelerated toward Nexus. Sarah stared in disbelief as ship designations appeared. EFS Nemesis, EFS Retribution, EFS Vengeance. Ships that officially didn't exist, but were now moving with impossible speed toward the station. As the bunker door began to give way, Sarah allowed herself a grim smile. The Vraxians were about to learn why you should never corner humans. The Forgotten Fleet. War Sovereign Drexkar stood on the command deck of his flagship, the Eternal Dominance, watching the holographic display of his forces systematically dismantling Nexus Station. The humans fought with surprising tenacity for such physically weak creatures, but the outcome was inevitable. His attention shifted to a junior officer who approached with uncharacteristic hesitation. "Speak," Drexkar commanded. "War Sovereign, our sensor arrays have detected anomalous energy signatures at the system's edge." "The Alliance," Drexkar's scaled brow ridged in amusement. "They made their cowardice clear." not Alliance signatures, sovereign. Unknown configuration. They appear to be human, but unlike any human vessels in our database. Drexcar's amusement vanished. Intelligence on human military capabilities was extensive. The Dominion had studied their prey thoroughly. Show me. The tactical display shifted, and Drexcar's reptilian eyes widened. Over 400 vessels were approaching rapidly, sleek, black ships with predatory lines. They bore no markings, no identifying features beyond their unmistakably human design aesthetics. Most disturbing was their size. The largest dwarfed even his flagship. Time to intercept. At current velocity, 3 minutes, sovereign. Impossible. No known human propulsion technology cold. Incoming transmission from the lead vessel. A human face appeared on the main view screen. An older male with dark skin, silver hair cut short, and eyes that betrayed no emotion whatsoever. Vraxian Command Vessel. This is Admiral Marcus Blackwood of Earth Fleet Black Division. You are ordered to cease hostilities against Nexus Station immediately and withdraw from this system. Drexcar hissed in contempt. You are outnumbered, human. Your pathetic species has been abandoned by its allies. Surrender now and... I didn't contact you to negotiate, Blackwood interrupted. I contacted you as a professional courtesy between military commanders. What happens next is your choice, but the outcome is already determined. The transmission cut, leaving Drexcar momentarily stunned by such audacity. Deploy intercept squadrons, he snarled. All vessels, battle formations. Show these humans the might of the Dominion. 200 Vraxian warships broke from the siege to engage the newcomers. Energy weapons charged, missile systems locked on targets. Aboard the EFS Nemesis, Admiral Blackwood watched the Vraxian response with clinical detachment. Typical, he remarked to his executive officer, Commander Helena Vega. They always choose the hard way. Rules of engagement, sir, Vega asked. Minimal collateral damage to Nexus Station. Beyond that, no restrictions. The Vraxians chose this dance. Vega nodded and relayed the orders. Throughout the Black Fleet, weapon systems that had never been revealed to the Galactic Alliance hung to life. The first Vraxian salvos crossed space toward the human fleet, thousands of energy blasts and missiles designed to overwhelm any defensive system. They never reached their targets. Midway between the fleets, the attacks simply ceased to exist, disappearing into nothingness, as though they'd never been fired. On the Nemesis, Lieutenant Prisha Sharma monitored the defensive systems. Phase shift nullifiers functioning at optimal capacity, Admiral. No penetration. Blackwood nodded. Commence primary offensive pattern. Isolation protocols for any Vraxian vessels near civilian structures. What followed was unlike anything the galaxy had witnessed in centuries of interstellar warfare. The Black Fleet didn't fire conventional weapons. Instead, space itself seemed to warp around selected Vraxian vessels. Ships simply vanished, translated into pocket dimensions from which they would never return. Others found their weapons and propulsion systems suddenly non-operational, dead in space, as though they'd never been built. Drexcar watched in mounting horror as his mighty fleet was systematically dismantled. Not destroyed, that would have been comprehensible, but simply removed from the equation with surgical precision. What are they? He demanded of his science officer. Unknown technology, Sovereign. Our sensors can't even define what's happening. It's as if they're manipulating fundamental forces, space, time, causality itself. A proximity alarm blared as one of the black ships, significantly smaller than the others, appeared directly alongside the Eternal Dominance, having bypassed all defensive perimeters as though they didn't exist. Sovereign, the communications officer called out, voice trembling. We're being boarded. The ship's internal sensors showed multiple human figures materializing throughout the flagship, appearing inside secured areas without using doors or access points. The command deck doors remained sealed, but suddenly Admiral Blackwood stood among them, seemingly having passed through solid matter. 6 human soldiers flanked him, weapons raised but not firing. War Sovereign Drexkar, Blackwood stated calmly. Your fleet has been neutralized. Nexus Station is under our protection. Drexkar lunged forward, clawed hand reaching for his ceremonial blade. Before he could grasp it, he found himself frozen in place, not restrained, but unable to move as though time itself had stopped for him alone. That would be unwise, Blackwood said. I come with terms. Listen carefully, as I'll only offer them once. On Nexus Station, Commander Sarah Chen watched in disbelief as the Vraxian boarding party suddenly retreated, rushing back to their assault craft with uncharacteristic disorder. Outside, the massive Vraxian fleet was in disarray. Some vessels vanished before her eyes. Others drifted powerless. Commander, Lieutenant Kang called out, we're receiving a transmission from the EFS Nemesis. Admiral Blackwood's face appeared on screen. Commander Chen, apologies for our delayed arrival. The station is secure. Vraxian forces are withdrawing. Sarah struggled to process what she was seeing. Admiral, thank you for your assistance, but Black Division. I've served in Earth Fleet for 15 years and never heard of it. Blackwood's expression remained neutral. That was intentional, Commander. When humanity joined the Galactic Alliance, certain factions within Earth government had concerns about relinquishing all military development to Alliance oversight. Black Division was established as a contingency, a fleet operating beyond conventional physics, hidden from both Alliance and public knowledge. Those ships, that technology, is the result of decades of classified research. Officially, we don't exist. Unofficially, we're humanity's insurance policy. A new transmission interrupted their conversation, a priority signal from the Galactic Alliance Council. Ambassador Telix appeared, his silver face unable to conceal his shock. Commander Chen, the Council has reconvened regarding the Nexus situation. We're prepared to send humanitarian aid and... Too late, Ambassador. Sarah cut him off coldly. Earth forces have already resolved the situation. Telix's eyes widened further as tactical data streamed to his position, showing the Vraxian fleet's condition and the mysterious human vessels. These ships, this technology, the Alliance has no record of. Admiral Blackwood stepped into view. Ambassador Telix, Admiral Marcus Blackwood. I'll be representing Earth in upcoming diplomatic discussions regarding the Alliance's abandonment of Nexus Station and violation of mutual defense treaties. Admiral, I assure you the Council acted according to established protocols for... Save it for the formal hearings, Blackwood interrupted. For now, know this. Humanity joined the Alliance in good faith, but we never staked our survival on it. The Vraxian Dominion has agreed to immediate cessation of hostilities against all human territories and reparations for damages to Nexus. The Vraxians agreed to this. Telix asked incredulously. They made the wise choice when presented with alternatives. After the transmissions ended, Sarah turned to Admiral Blackwood. What happens now? Reconstruction begins for Nexus. As for humanity's place in the galaxy, Blackwood's expression softened slightly. The Alliance now understands we're not just the eager newcomers they can sacrifice when convenient, and the Vraxians have learned that appearances can be deceiving. Sarah looked out at the black ships patrolling where the Vraxian fleet had once dominated. Will the Alliance demand this technology? Undoubtedly. But some secrets humanity will keep to itself. Blackwood surveyed the damaged station. The galaxy left us to die, Commander Chen. We won't forget that lesson. As emergency teams from the Black Fleet deployed throughout Nexus, the message spread among the survivors, whispered first, then spoken with increasing confidence. The galaxy had abandoned them, but humanity had not. And the galaxy would never underestimate humanity again.